Thank you. So far this year, more than 100 people have been stabbed to death in the UK. For one community in particular, the crisis has become so acute that parents are deciding to send their teenagers to Somalia, Kenya and other parts of East Africa for their own safety. The Victoria Derbyshire programme has been told that hundreds of British teenagers are being sent by their Somali parents to parts of the world that for many years have been associated with violence and chaos. Our producer Sean Clare has been to Kenya to track down some of those who've swapped violence in London for a new life in Africa.
For those risking their lives to seek asylum here, Britain is a place of refuge. But for one community, the streets in the UK have become so dangerous their young people are making the opposite journey. British Somali parents are sending their children who were born and raised here, in their words, home.
There are mothers now sending their teenagers back home, saying it's much safer to live in London.
The UK's knife crime epidemic has reached such a level that British teenagers are swapping the streets of the UK for East Africa. One of them, Yusuf, whose name we've changed, moved to Kenya from London when a friend was killed.
In those few years that I was doing my A-levels, it was tough.
Why was it tough?
Just seeing people being dropped every other day, being stabbed. It's not the place to be for a teenager, I would say.
Yusuf was talking there to Jamal Hassan, a British Somali who grew up in West London. Jamal turned his own life around after coming to Kenya as a teenager.
When you walk in the streets, you don't have to look over your shoulder. When you're out and about, you know you're not being targeted, because at that age, there was no way on earth that I could have easily walked into different areas of London.
Jamal is now establishing himself as a mentor and is here in Nairobi speaking to some of those who fled violence and crime in the UK.
When I came here, it was a clean sheet. No one knew me. No one knows my history.
Your parents, do they feel that you're safer here?
Yeah, 100%. My mum feels I'm much safer here than anywhere else in the world.
Prominent members of the Somali community say hundreds of teenagers are making a similar journey because of knife crime to East Africa, to Kenya, Somalia, Somaliland.
Does the parent wait for her child to be killed? Or does the parent take a decision, quite a drastic decision, to take him all the way back to wherever that child is from originally?
Despite British Somalis making up less than 1% of the UK population, according to one estimate, 8% of those stabbed to death in the UK this year were of Somali heritage.
Parents don't know how to deal with this. This is not something they've encountered before. This is a British problem, and it's a problem that we've fallen into. So there was an example of a young boy who lived in West London who had asked to be taken back home. And she said the day they booked his plane ticket was the day that he was killed. It's not the answer, but these are desperate parents. They want their children to live. It's a life and death situation, literally. It's survival.
With that report.